Hello, my name is Marcus, and I'm 29 years old. I've saved up $70,000. I have a good job, a nice girlfriend, and a physique that I'm proud of. But here's the kicker, I have no idea what I actually want to do with my life. If you ever felt like you're stuck on autopilot or unsure where to direct your energy, this video is for you. Let's explore how I got here, what I've learned along the way, and the steps I'm taking to find clarity. Hopefully, this can help you too. So I want to go back in time and have a look at my childhood and how I was raised, because it has a lot to do with where I am today. My parents, they really liked saving money. They didn't like spending a lot of money on themselves. We didn't travel a lot. We didn't have a lot of extravagant experiences. We're just living fairly cheaply. They didn't buy a house before I was 14, so we lived in not the biggest apartment in the world. It was big enough for a family of 3. I'm an only child, so yeah, it was just the 3 of us. But the point is that they didn't spend a lot of money. They didn't earn that much either, but it still meant that they were slowly saving up a lot of money. And one of the things my parents would often drill into me when I was growing up was that money was scarce and that you shouldn't spend too much money on things that weren't important. And I think there's a lot of good and bad sides to this argument. The good is that you might end up in a situation like me where you never really struggle financially because you're always saving up. But then there's the other side of the coin, which I've seen with my parents, that they haven't really experienced life to the fullest, in my eyes, which is a bit of a shame. And that's one of the things that I really want to change. I've been working a lot in my 20s to save up a lot of money so I can actually have the freedom later to do whatever I want. And how I've done that in my 20s is basically living below my means. Here in Denmark where I live, you can live at a student dorm until you graduate, in some cases even longer. So I did that for as long as I could. I lived in cheap student dorms with very little space, shared kitchen. While it didn't work that much while I studied, I've always been saving up. I was never the guy that went out with my friends and spent $100 on drinks for a night. I would always take the cheap route, drink from home, and then save the money when I went out. And then go to local places that were a bit cheaper. Like where I studied chemistry, we had a bar there where the beers were like 1/3 of the price of if you went downtown to buy alcohol there. So that was a really nice way of still experiencing parties, but living below my means and saving up money while I was studying. Then I also developed some smart financial habits. I started investing a few years ago, started doing the dollar cost averaging strategy, which is, it's an investing term if you don't know. It's about investing a specific amount every month instead of just investing everything at once. I did start with a lump sum of, I think it was around $8,000 or so, just to get me going. But ever since then, I've just been slowly investing every single month. And I use that as a motivation to save up long term. That the money I make from work, a lot of it is going into investments, either into stocks or myself, into courses and mentors, things that make me better at earning more money and becoming a better person. And ever since I finished my study and I started working, I've also been doing a bunch of side hustles. I've been doing some guitar coaching, I've been doing photography freelancing, and I've been trying to start a few YouTube channels on the side. Even though the YouTube thing hasn't really panned out yet, but the point of telling you this is that if you have some spare time, which you probably do in your 20s, I didn't have a girlfriend for a long time, I have one now, but I had a lot of time, especially during the lockdown, to get better at sales, marketing, coaching, and learning a new skill, such as photography. I didn't know anything about photography until 2020. I was never the guy that took a lot of pictures, but then I did a 365 project where I uploaded a photo every single day to my Instagram. And then suddenly I had a portfolio that I could share, that I could market to people, that led me to be able to make some money from photography, which has helped me save up the 70K that I have today. But yeah, here's the kicker from all of this. I focused so much on building a safety net that I kind of forgot to think about what am I actually building it for? And that's the main challenge I have right now, is that I don't feel like I have a clear direction in life. I've acquired a lot of different skills. A lot of people, they tell me, you can basically get a job anywhere, you can make money anywhere. Yeah, that's fine, but I'm not sure what to actually do currently. Society tells us to save, to grind, to prepare for the future, but what happens when you're prepared and the future feels a bit empty? Because to the outside, I have what you really want. I have the aesthetic physique, I have the nice girlfriend, I have the high-paying, high-level job, and I even make money on the side from my hobby. I mean, it seems perfect, right? But it just feels like something's still missing. And it might be something internally, but it's something that I'm continually reflecting over. I'm gonna spend January 2025 to really nail down what I actually want and how I want to fuse my skills, if I want to have a 9 to 5 and do my side hustle like I'm doing now, or if I want to switch the hours to maybe find a part-time job and maybe do more of my freelancing work. It's all something that I want to reflect over. But I can definitely feel now that I've quote unquote made it. The main issue is really that I now don't have a clear direction. I've always before had something that I was working towards. Let's say I was building skills up so I could actually make money with my hobby in the future. But now I'm doing that. I was building myself up to become an attractive guy that's attractive to women so I could actually get a nice girlfriend. I have that. And I got a master's degree. I have a nice job in chemistry, a dream job at a startup that I was really fighting for, that I really wanted for a long time. And I got that. And I'm no longer skinny. I put on a lot of muscle. I know how to build muscle. I know how to cut down in weight. And yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm extremely grateful actually for the situation I am in now. It's kind of weird that it feels so empty in a way. Like I'm very happy, but at the same time I feel like something needs to change. And I have some thoughts on why I think this is actually going to happen to many of us. Some people in their late 20s, like myself, maybe early 30s, maybe they start to feel this as a midlife crisis in their 40s and 50s. Because you're told to follow a path, to study, to work, to save, but not what happens after. And that's kind of what I did. I was following this path to get my master's degree and also to build up skills on the side of things that I wanted to try to make money with. But now I hit the goalpost. And if you think about people that are trying to lose weight, for example, a lot of people, they yo-yo back to their old habits because when they hit the goal, they don't have anything to chase anymore. There's no rabbit to chase. You can just feel like there's no point to this. I achieved it, so I'm just gonna go back to doing what I enjoy. And in the case of many people that are overweight and trying to lose weight, then they just go back to their old habits because that gives them a sense of comfort. I think today we have a lot of choices. I remember when I was trying to pick what I was gonna study at university, there were so many choices, and honestly, I did not know what the hell I was gonna do when I was 19 or 18, I believe I was when I got into university. My parents, they pushed me towards not taking a gap year, which is the norm here in Denmark where I live. So I just decided to pick whatever I liked in high school and what I thought I would like for the future. So I picked chemistry, which was, it was really good. I had some moments where I was actually contemplating dropping out of chemistry because, again, there's paradox of choice. I was thinking business is kind of interesting, psychology is kind of interesting, music is really interesting. So there were so many options that I felt paralyzed a lot of the time. Even just picking the individual subjects when I was taking chemistry, because there's so many directions you can go with it. Also, you can go organic chemistry, which can be like food, pharmaceuticals, stuff like that. And then there's materials chemistry and yeah, all this sort of stuff that I won't bore you with. So it can be difficult to just pick one, but you have to pick one at some point. It's like picking your starter in Pokemon. You can't have all three of them. Well, you can if you trade them over, but you have to make a choice that for this run, I'm gonna pick Torchic, or I'm gonna pick Mudkip in my case, and I'm gonna do a monotype water run, which is what you're seeing here. And then you just have to go with that decision. It's the same thing with life, really. Having the clarity to figure out what to actually pick is one of the things that our generation really struggles with, especially because of social media also. We can get bombarded with so many different things that are interesting to us. Our attention span is horrible compared to the previous generations. So for the younger guys out there, I definitely sympathize with you with trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, because I'm still on that path as well. Some of the steps I've done to actually find some direction recently is I've been implementing the Ikigai framework from the book Ikigai, I think it's just called, it has like a subtitle. But I was recommended to do this by a friend of mine that also is building his own business, and he didn't know what to do with his life. So the idea is basically you draw out some different circles and you figure out what do you love, what does the world need, what are you good at, and what can you be paid for. And then when you write into those four circles, they have points where they meet in the middle, and then you can kind of figure out a combination of things that you really like and are good at, and also what you can be paid for and what the world actually needs, what the market needs. So in that way you can kind of tune into what you want to do with your life. And I got some hints from that. I actually realized that this YouTube channel is an extension of my Ikigai, because what I really want to do is I want to help guys like myself that are on the path to success, then helping them find clarity in what do they actually want to do with their life, like I'm trying to figure out. I've tried so many different things to actually figure out, okay, I kind of like cameras and I kind of like recording videos and shooting content. It's been really fun to me of all the ventures I've tried. And then also, I'm a bit of a nerd. I like analytical stuff. I like my work. It doesn't stress me out. It's actually quite fun. to build something in the tech industry. And I've been learning coding on the side as well, since I was interested in learning that to further my career. And apart from the Ikigai framework, another thing I've been doing is journaling a lot. I've been using journaling prompts like, what would you do if money wasn't a factor? And also things like, what excited you as a child? And for me, that was very clear. I played a lot of Pokemon, I played a lot of Ratchet and Clank, and I played a lot of racing games. As an extension of that, once again, I made this Neosphere channel, so I could actually have a good excuse to go back and play some of the old Pokemon games, since I'm not really doing that anymore except when I'm sick at home. Then I'll pull out my Nintendo 3DS, play some Pokemon Alpha Sapphire or some other games that I really liked as a child, or at least remakes of them. I've never really played the newest Pokemon games. The last one I bought was Pokemon Ultra Moon, so I haven't bought Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, but I have been watching videos of them and playthroughs and all this, so I've always kept up with Pokemon. It's something I really like. And if money wasn't a factor, I think I'll just make videos like this, honestly, and maybe do a couple photo shoots occasionally and work a lot less than I'm doing now. For me, I really figured out that this Neosphere channel is really a gift to myself, a Christmas gift to myself, that I'm dedicating time every weekend to do these videos for myself. And then I was actually really surprised that just recently uploaded my second channel, and there's already 5 comments on that video. And the last couple of times I tried to start a YouTube channel, I didn't even get that after video 50. So apparently the algorithm is trying to push this out, and some people are resonating with it. So I'm really grateful for that, and thank you for all the guys who commented on that video on Nothing is Permanent. I really appreciate it, guys. But apart from doing these reflection exercises like Ikigai, journaling, I think one very concrete thing that I'd recommend that you do if you feel like you've gotten stuck in life is a lot of experimentation. What I've been looking forward to every month for the last half year is that I like to try new things. I like to dedicate a month to try something new. This month I've been combining my love for AI and fitness to actually build an AI coach in ChatGPT. So this AI coach is something I've been feeding all my workouts, my data from the last 4 years of training seriously. And then along with it, I've built the perfect fitness framework for myself to build strength and build muscle and reach my fitness goals that I have for the next year. And I would actually recommend you as an action step you can take after this video, if you're resonating with what I'm saying here in this video, I want you to dedicate the next 3 to 6 months to test out different career paths or hobbies, if there's anything you've been considering. And what I mean by different career paths, you can do something like a 365 project, which I've been doing with photography and coding, where you just dedicate some time every day. It can literally be 2 minutes, just take one photo or code one line. And if you start doing that consistently, it'll become more or less effortless to work on that every single day as a part of your habit or part of your routine. You can do it when you get home from school, from work. You can do it in the morning before work, which I've been doing both. Both work very well if you're dedicated to learn something new or try something new. Could be some hobby that you've been thinking about for a long time that you want to give a shot. I love guitar, and I've recently got back into playing again. I used to play in a bunch of bands when I was younger, and it's been so much fun just to jam on my electric guitar and firing off some super cool solos. So that's something I would definitely recommend you to experiment with. Another thing is start talking to others about these ideas, paths you have. I'm in a school community where I post occasionally and I read the other guys' posts about things like this. Another thing I'd recommend is talking to others and networking with people who've pursued paths that you want to take. When I wanted to learn photography, I was reaching out to people I knew who was good with cameras, and I was looking online in different forums, participating there, and trying to pick up different skills and figure out how do I best learn this thing. And it really gave me a direction of how to proceed with my 365 photography project and how I should get started with building my portfolio. So alongside of the tip of networking with people, you can also get a mentor or ask your friends, what do they think you're good at? Because a lot of them, they'll tell you things that you might not think yourself. I remember when I asked some of my friends about my strength, a lot of people, they told me that I was really dedicated and really persistent. And I never really thought about that until at that point, that a lot of people, they struggle with consistency and discipline. But that's one of the things that I've nailed down pretty well. So when I say that I'm gonna commit to something and do it, then I'm gonna keep doing it. No matter what, there's nothing that's gonna stop me there. So that was one of the strengths that I figured out, that I have the ability to just learn things, whatever I want, and I have the discipline to push through when it gets difficult, when I'm suddenly busy, when there's other things in life that might take priority, I can still dedicate myself to things like that, which is why things like a 365 was really good for me, because I knew that I would just be dedicated to keep this project going and build something really nice for myself. But I know for a lot of you, maybe a 365 is a bit too much if you don't know what you actually want to pick. I did it because I kind of had a feeling that photography would be a nice skill to have for me. I was also back when I was still single, I wanted better photos for my Tinder, so that was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to get better at photography, to teach some of my friends to take better photos of me for our dating profiles. But I got really sharp at it, and I also helped some of my friends with their profiles, and yeah, it was a big goal with doing it for a year. But I would actually recommend, if you wanted to really learn something, just set quarterly goals, start out small, choose one area of your life to focus on improving for the next 3 months. If you know there's a specific path that you want to pursue. If not, then you can do the experimentation phase that I mentioned earlier in the video, where you just dedicate the next 3 to 6 months to testing out different career paths or hobbies that you might actually find interesting. And one thing I really want to drill into your head is that finding direction isn't about having the perfect answer. It's just about taking the next step, even if you're not sure where it leads, because if you never take the next step, you're just gonna get even more stuck. At least if you're taking a step in some kind of direction, you'll get some kind of clarity on, okay, so this actually felt good to me, or this didn't feel so good to me. Then I can reassess from there. And just to get back on the fact that I still don't feel like I have a clear direction, I want to emphasize that not knowing can also be freeing, because I'm not locked into any one path just yet. I thought I would be when I did my chemistry major, because then you typically have a clear path of you get into some lab work, or of course there's plenty of paths into chemistry, but that's how I started. I got into a lot of lab work. I'm still doing a lot of lab work, but then suddenly I opened up a lot of paths for myself with coaching and photography, freelancing, and now this YouTube channel. And also, if you end up saving a lot of money, like 70k is actually quite a lot, which I've saved up, you suddenly have the luxury of time and space to explore. I could quit my job tomorrow if I wanted to, and then I could take a huge risk, and I could live off this money for a year, and it wouldn't really affect me in 10 years time that I did this. So for me, that's a huge win, that I've managed to put myself in this situation, even if I'm not totally clear on the direction I have today. I know that it's been some great years, the last couple of years, when I've been trying different things and experimenting, and it really sets you up for the rest of your life, that you suddenly have a bunch of different skill sets that you can use, even if you end up figuring out, okay, maybe I didn't want to do coaching, but I tried it, and I'll never be thinking, what if that was the thing, but I never dared to try it. So yeah, focus on enjoying the process and not just the outcome. And if this resonated with you, I'd love if you would drop a comment and let me know where you are in your journey. And also, if you would follow along as I navigate this next chapter of my life, then hit the subscribe button, and I'd love to see you here.